Hey everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media. And today I am talking about what appears to be, anyway, the last Visual Vengeance release of 2023. This is spine number 14, The Wrong Door from 1990. So this one is an interesting one. I think much like they did in 2022, Visual Vengeance really ends the year on a high note. So let's talk about Spine 14. Before we do though, if you have a quick second, go ahead and hit that like button down below. That engagement really does help me out. But with that said, let's not waste any more time at all. Let's dive right into my Blu-ray review of The Wrong Door. Okay, so let's start with the packaging here. So first we have the slip cover, which looks awesome. And going with a purple theme on the front and the back here. And I love this. The eyes are like the inside of a cassette tape, which I love to see. That's super cool and very fitting for the movie. And then we'll take the slip cover off. And we have the commissioned artwork on the inside there, which looks great. Going with an orange theme on the front and the back. And then we'll open it up here. And you have the disc, which again, playing homage to the cassette tape. The stickers, which are always included. And then the unique item for this release is this door hanger here, like you see in a hotel room. The Do Not Disturb sign, which is perfectly fitting for this movie. And then we have an insert here. I love that artwork. That's like the original artwork that they drew back in the day, but the distributor didn't like it, so they went with what you're going to see in just a second here. But that looks great. And then we have the poster, which again is this, but in larger form. And then I will flip it around. I always say it, but this is my favorite. And they're going with a yellow theme on this one. And this is the original VHS cover art. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, and that's exactly what it is. So there's the back. And then there's the front. And so this is what Mother Video went with when they released it instead of this artwork, which frankly, I think they're both awesome. So they could have gone either way. But this is really playing into like who the directors are and what they were trying to do with this film more so than this, which is trying to sell movies, right? In the 80s, which totally makes sense, or late 80s, early 90s. And so, yeah, this looks awesome as always. I always love the packaging from Visual Vengeance. So let's talk about the movie itself. We have The Wrong Door from 1990, and this is spine number 14, as I've already mentioned here. So this is a fascinating movie. First off, there are 3 directors to this one. We have, I'm going to read them off the back here, Bill Weiss, Sean Corby, and James Grosh are listed as the directors of this film, and they talk about how each of them had their own roles. One of them was like director of photography, one of them directed the actors, and another did the music, things like that. And so the fact that there's 3 directors is just interesting in and of itself. But these 3 were actually film students at the University of Minnesota. I believe this was after they graduated or, coming up to graduation. They were all working in the restaurant business, so they decided to pool their money together, and they actually split it 4 ways with the producer, John Schoenbaum, as well. And they pooled together to get $10,000, so $2,500 each, to make this movie. Now, it ended up being a lot more at the end of the day, but that's where things started. And so that's why the 3 of them insisted on getting a directorial credit, which I think is just pretty interesting. But it's very obvious as you're watching this that these are very intelligent film individuals that are making this movie. They're very well versed, and obviously being film students right out of school or still in school, whatever the case is, it's all fresh in their memory, right? And so it's very clear their inspirations on this movie. So we're following Ted, who is I think he's like a sound design major or something like that. And anyway, he's in this sound design class, and for the final exam, he has to come up with this audio thriller of some sort. And so the movie opens right up with exactly that, like an audio thriller. And you can tell that the acting is going to be on a whole nother level here compared to almost all of the Visual Vengeance films I've talked about previously, because it's just really well done across the board.
He's gone now. I can't see him anymore. He saw me. He saw me watching him. What am I going to do? My doors are all locked, but I don't know where to hide myself. I'm in a wheelchair. I'm all by myself. I can't move around too easily. I'm alone and I'm frightened. What am I going to do?
So he's trying to do this final exam at one night but he also works as like a singing jester, a singing telegram guy. And so he dresses up as this jester that night and goes out to this party where he's supposed to be singing this song for this group of people. When he gets there, he knocks on the titular wrong door, and this woman opens up, who is a girl that he saw at college earlier that day, who he's fallen in love with already, love at first sight type of thing. And she like mouths to him, "Help me," but then he's pulled away to go to do his singing telegram business. Well, things kind of escalate from there. He realizes that something's wrong, and so he gets wrapped up into this web of kind of craziness that goes on that night. Where's the girl? Is she okay? What's going to happen to him? And so on. And so he just gets wrapped up into this whole crazy mess. And it is very much, very reminiscent of a Hitchcock or a Brian De Palma film. Something like Blowout plays a huge inspiration here. Of course, in Blowout, our main character is in sound engineering as well. That's what he does for film. And it's very similar with this, except our main character is producing audio thrillers for his university class. But the homages to De Palma and Hitchcock are very present throughout this entire film. This movie just has a charm about it right from the beginning. First off, like I already mentioned, the acting in this is really well done. It's hard to find a real weak link across the board in this one, with our main characters at least. I think they all do a really great job. And again, they're doing this for free. It's amazing how good of talent they were able to get, but that's kind of the plus of shooting at a university, is you have students that are willing to do things like this for very little or no money, like in this case. And so the actor playing Ted, I think, is excellent and really does a nice job of carrying the film forward.
10 o'clock tonight. Birthday party, jester costume. Why do they always want a jester? No, never mind.
And then we have our antagonists, who are these like big hulking men, and I think they just kind of play perfectly along Ted, who is just very much not that. He's this kind of scrawny guy, and it just works really well. And then our main female character in this, who does a lot of sitting around, frankly, but I think she does great as well for the little bit that she's asked to do. And so the acting on this, again, it's just night and day better than anything I've really seen from Visual Vengeance. So that's why this one really stands out to me, because I always love good acting, and that's what we're able to get here. And so it's just a charm about it with that acting, and then the fact that it's shot on Super 8. So, some of the shots are quite dark, but you can still make out what you need to see, and I think that's important. It's very clear that they knew what they were doing in terms of lighting the scene as best they could in some situations, but they're doing what they can. And again, just the homages to other films that are in here, I think, is so great. It really felt like just a well-done thriller. I think the best compliment I can give The Wrong Door is that this feels like something, and this is not to denigrate Visual Vengeance at all, but this feels like something that Vinegar Syndrome would put out, and it would do really well. That's kind of the level that it's on. It feels like it's on a different level than some of these other things we've seen. Now, this isn't shot on video, of course, it's shot on Super 8, and so that just makes it feel a little bit different as well, but some of the other releases from Visual Vengeance have also been shot on Super 8, and they don't have quite the professional feel that this one does. The biggest tragedy on this is the fact that these three didn't go on to have huge, well-known filmmaking careers. Yes, some of them do go on to do some other things, but not as big as I would have expected watching something like this with their first effort back in, they shot this in like 1988. Now, please don't get me wrong. I'm comparing this to the other Visual Vengeance releases when I say this is just a well-done film. Now, like the end of 2022 when they released Heartland of Darkness, that was kind of the best of the best at the time. Well, for me, The Wrong Door is even better than that. This is just a well-done film in terms of the intelligence behind the filmmaking. It's clear that these guys had a vast knowledge of the world of cinema, and they're able to implement that as best they can given their extremely low budget and all the limitations that were surrounding them. But what they're able to do here is so admirable. So I was interested in this one from start to finish. Yes, it does get slow at points. There's a moment in this where it's like a 5-minute scene of him just kind of putting together an audio drama. That definitely slows things down toward the start of the movie. But once things pick up, once it gets into the action of the film, I think this is just a good, enjoyable time. One thing that does knock this film down a little bit for me is the music. It's not that it's bad, it's just, it doesn't really fit what's going on all the time. This was also done by one of the directors, and they're doing a great job. Like, that's their passion, is their music, and I think they do a good job with it. But it does make the film feel a little bit saccharine and does give it a little bit more of an amateurish feel that kind of puts it alongside some of the other Visual Vengeance releases, just because it's so kind of over the top, maybe too flowery, or like I said, too saccharine for what's going on at some moments. But at other times, I think it's great and it really fits the thriller action that's going on here. So it's really a mixed bag, but they're doing the best that they can given everything that's available to them. It's a well done film. So I am going to give The Wrong Door from 1990 3 out of 5 stars, which is the same I gave Heartland of Darkness, but I would still put The Wrong Door just a step above Heartland of Darkness. So let's move over to the AV side of this one now, and fortunately, the audio on this is great. I didn't have any of the issues I had with the last one, which makes sense. This is a movie about audio engineering, right? Sound engineering, and so it's good that the audio on the disc actually sounds well also. So I thought the audio on this was great. The music does get maybe a little louder than one might like, which may play into the fact that it does feel a little kind of too much, but you know, again, it's nothing really to complain about. I was able to hear the audio on this, which is really what I need to hear in a movie like this. So I thought that was well done. And then in terms of the video, again, it looks pretty darn good. Now, this is a director-supervised 2K HD transfer from the original Super 8 film. And you're getting a little bit of a better image here than you're going to get with something that was shot on video. It's just the nature of film. But that said, there are moments on this where it is very dark. However, even though it is really dark, you can make out what you need to make out. There's a lot of, almost the entire movie takes place at night, and there are these scenes where you have like a city background going, or a cityscape going on in the background, and you can make out lights. You don't necessarily know exactly what it is, but you can make out the lights, and so it feels fitting. It feels appropriate for what's going on in this movie. It's lit well enough that you know what's going on, which is all I could really ask for with something like this. So again, it's one of the better ones I've seen from Visual Vengeance, so I liked a lot the AV side of this release. The special features side of this disc is where it really shines. It is loaded with them. So there's a main documentary on here that's about a half an hour long. It's called Men Make Movies, If Not Millions. And basically, there are 4 people that they talk to, the directors plus one of the distributors. And there are interviews with each of the 4 of them that are separate special features on the disc. And so someone went in and kind of spliced up those interviews and made it into this Men Make Movies documentary. And so if you want to know even more than what's in that main documentary, you watch each of the 4 individual interviews. So there is a ton of information on here. Most of those interviews are 20 plus minutes also. So much info there. There are 2 commentary tracks on this, which I did check out both of them, just a little, I sampled a little bit of each. Those are well done as well. It's interesting because the audio quality on those is always so different, because I imagine they're doing it remotely, and so it's just whatever microphone the director has in front of him that he's able to use. So the quality is kind of hit and miss on that, but it's okay. And then there is an alternate cut of The Wrong Door. It cuts off about 6 minutes of the movie, and frankly, I don't recommend it because it looks like someone was like filming a TV screen that was watching the movie. It's so weird. I can't even really explain it, but the picture quality on that is significantly worse than on the main feature itself. But it's there. I couldn't even really tell you what's cut out of it. It's just kind of little bits and pieces here and there that end up being 6 minutes shorter. On top of that, there are 2 Super 8 shorts. There's one from when they were probably in high school of Raiders of the Lost Ark, a Raiders of the Lost Ark take. And then there's The Pizza Man, I believe it's called, or The Pizza Man from 1988. And it's just a short film that one of the directors did previously. There is another short on there. It's like 20-something minutes of The Gail Worthman Show. It's kind of this like mockumentary show about like hunting and fishing. Very strange, bizarre thing, but it's on there. Kind of funny if you want to watch that. And then they have like the original Mother video VHS intros where the Mother character is kind of doing multiple takes of different sequences. So strange. I mean, this thing is utterly loaded. There are hours and hours of features on here that you can sink your teeth into, and it's just another nod to how great Visual Vengeance is with these releases. Some of these features on here are so cool. I especially loved the documentary plus the 4 interviews. It gives you such a good look at what's going on in the film industry at that time, and with this being a regional horror film in Minnesota, it kind of gives you a look at that era or that area as well. It's just really cool. So I love the special features on this, just like I did the AV side. So The Wrong Door is just an awesome release from Visual Vengeance. If you are into regional horror from this era, if you like the shot on video stuff, even though this is not shot on video, but if you like that style and you like Hitchcock films, you like De Palma, you like thrillers, this is absolutely one that you should check out. I think of all of their releases, this is probably going to be the most accessible to like a general crowd, and so I highly recommend this release from Visual Vengeance. I will give The Wrong Door from Visual Vengeance 4 out of 5 stars. Alright, so those were my thoughts on The Wrong Door, spine number 14 from Visual Vengeance. I cannot wait to see what they do in 2024 because much like 2022, they ended 2023 with a bang. The Wrong Door is an awesome release that I highly recommend. So let me know if you guys plan on checking this one out in the comments below. Have you already seen this movie? What do you think of it? Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know what you think about this and anything else down in the comments below. I hopefully will be back next year with spine number 15 and 16, which I have no idea what they are at this point, but I can't wait to find out. Thank you to Visual Vengeance for sending these over my way for review. I really do appreciate that partnership. More importantly, I appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed this one, go ahead and hit that like button down below. That engagement really does help me out. And like I always say, I don't just talk movies, I talk all things media. Books, movies, video games, graphic novels. If it's media related, I'm interested in it. And if you are too, you might consider subscribing. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. And I want to encourage you to consume some media today. I'll catch you next time.